Hey guys, welcome to the homework review for lesson 5.1. This was our first lesson in the new unit for exponential functions. So here we have the vocab. Vocab is all you guys. You can feel free to review with that with me at any time. So let's start with the first set. So problems number 1 through 6 are all under the same direction. So right here it says to write a function to represent each problem situation. Before we jump into this, I kind of want to summarize the chapter for you guys. So we looked at two different models or interest models. The first one we looked at was simple interest, and the other one is compound interest. So remember that the simple interest was modeled after our arithmetic sequence and the compound interest was modeled after our geometry. So if we remember our formulas, we had that simple interest was P of T. So let me write that below just to give it more space. It was P of T is equal to an initial P naught plus, that's where we get that arithmetic, plus the quantity of our original times our rate times t. And our compound model was P of t is equal to our initial P naught times the quantity of 1 plus our rate to the t power. So this compound is exponential, this one becomes linear. And there's three things we did for each of these sections, or for each interest model. The first thing they asked, or we needed to know how to do, is to write a function. And that's the same thing for compound, write a function. The second thing we needed to know how to do is obtain a final amount given a certain time frame. So given a t value, years, find amount. And we did the same thing here for compound. So given t years, find an amount. The last thing we were asked to do was given a final amount, find t, or find the number of years. So given an amount, we needed to find t, or number of years. And same thing for compound. So this led us to do 6 different types of problems, which in your mastery quiz you had 6 different questions. We're going to run through all those questions, or all of these concepts, and you're going to see what they look like in the homework, and hopefully it helps you guys out for studying for your exam as well. So for the first set, it says write a function. Look at that. It's exactly what we had up here. They give you a description, and number 1 is done for you, so feel free to follow those notes. Let's take a look at number 2. It says Carmen deposits $1,000 into a simple. So there's a few things we have to annotate or highlight. So here's $1,000. And the other one is simple interest. So let me just clean that up. There's something. Okay. So here's 1,000, and here's simple. Interest, the interest rate for the account is 4%. Write a function that represents this balance. So we know it's simple, so we know it falls into this category, and we know we're using this function up here. So we need 2 things, our initial amount, and that is $1,000. And we need our rate. We know that the rate here in decimal is 0.04. 0.04. And again, guys, if you forget, you can always take your percentage for percent and divide that, omit the percent, divide that by 100, and you'll end up getting your decimal. So now all we have to do is write the function in, and we're done. So P of t is equal to our initial amount 1,000 plus the quantity of our initial amount, 1,000 times our rate, which is 0.04 times t. If you use a calculator, you can punch that in, or you can work it out the long way. I'm fine with either way as long as you guys can show me your work. So let me get both screens on here. So we would punch in 1,000, which is our initial amount, plus the quantity. Notice that I open my parentheses, 1,000 times 0.04. I close that up. Oh, I'm sorry. We don't need to put our initial amount. We just want to simplify this a little further. We just want to know what's in parentheses, and that's it. So in order for me to simplify this a little bit, we're going to keep our initial amount as 1,000 outside, and this becomes 40. So we get 40t. And we're done. So that's essentially, guys, what you do for the first set. So now we've done write the function. This is done. So now we have to, given a t, we have to find an amount, or a final amount, and that's what the second block is all about. So problems number 7 through 12 are that block. So number 7 is given to you, and we'll do number 8. It says Sharon deposits $500 into a simple interest account. The interest rate for the account is 3.75%. The function, so they're giving you the function already here, represents the balance in the account as a function of time. Determine the account balance after each given number of years. So here we have that t will equal 2, and we're just going to go ahead and plug it in. So if we look at our function, we have that our p of 2, or p of t, we can actually replace that with a 2, which means after 2 years, is equal to $500 plus 18.75. And again, we're just going to substitute our value 2 and multiply that out, and we're done. So if we use the calculator, bring those screens up, we end up with 500 plus 18.75, quantity 2, or for 2 years, enter. We end up with $537.50. So my P of 2 is 537.5. And we're done. The final one we have to do for simple interest, guys, is if we look back at our checklist up here, this one, done. Given an amount, find the years. So now they're giving us a final amount. We have to find t, number of years. Since this is linear, we can just plug it in and then solve for t. So again, 13 is given for you here, and you can follow those steps. Let's look at number 14. We're using our function. They gave us this function already. So if you read it, Hector deposits $400 into a simple interest account. The interest rate for the account is 5.25%. The function P of t is equal to 400, or given to you right here. Represents the balance in the account as a function of time. Determine the number of years it will take for the account balance to reach each given amount. So we're going to take our function P of t, 400 plus 21t. They're giving us our final amount, which in our notes we studied that was P of t, and we're just going to plug it in. $610, and everything else just comes down, or we rewrite everything else. So this just becomes a simple two-step equation where if we subtract 400 to both sides, remember what you do to one side, if we do to the other side, we're balancing our equation. We get 210 and then 21t. We're multiplying, so the opposite operation of multiplication is division. We divide by 21, we divide by 21, this goes away, or actually reduces to 1t. So we have 1t is equal to, when we divide here, 10. So what does that mean? It will take us 10 years to make $610. And that's our answer. And that's essentially what you do for this entire block. So that's all simple interest. Now we come to the set where we actually have to do compound interest, which is our exponential stuff. And again, in our checklist, we have to write a function first, then given t, solve for an amount, then given the amount, solve for t. So here we're just going to write the function down. So Leon deposits $250. That's important. Let's go ahead and write that down. That's our initial amount. $250. And we have that the interest rate for the account is at 6%. So we're going to write again our interest rate 6% in decimal. So that's R is equal to 0.06. We're going to plug in directly into our function. And we get P of t is equal to, well, I'm getting a lag from my mouse, equal to 250 times the quantity of 1 plus my rate to the t power. If we simplify this, we can only simplify what is inside of our parentheses, and we're done. So this gives us P of t is equal to $250 times the quantity of 1.06 to the t power. Done. And essentially the entire block is the same. For this one, they're giving us the number of years. So we have that our function is given to us up here. And again, we're just plugging in, or we're substituting t years. So we know that t will equal 4. Let's plug into our function. P of 4 for years is equal to 500 times the quantity, or times 1.0325. Instead of the t power, we write to the 4th power. We can just plug this in directly again to our calculator, and we can figure out our amount. So if we do so, we get 500 times 1.0325 to the power of 4 for 4 years. And our final amount is $568.24 if we round off. So we get $568.24. And we're done. And all of the problems here are the same, 25 through 30. For 31, we have to find how many years it will take us to make the amount that they're giving us. So again, they give us the function up here. We're just going to substitute into that. So we have P of t is equal to 1,000 times 1.05 to the t power. We want to know how many years, or t, it takes us to make $4,000. So let's plug in $4,000 here. Now, what we did in our class notes, we used the graphing calculator. Now, there's a method we can solve here, but we're not ready at this point. So let's go ahead and use that graphing calculator and just estimate using the intersecting properties. So there's two things we got to graph. We got to graph our function, which is this P of t thing, and we got to graph when we make $4,000, or y is equal to $4,000. We're going to graph both of those functions. So we go to our y, and we're going to clear everything there, and we're going to write our function 1,000 times the quantity of 1.05 to the x power. We don't have the t here. We're actually graphing on our coordinate Cartesian plane, so we have an x and y instead of a t. So we're going to use x. The bottom line, we're going to use 4,000 because that's y is equal to 4,000. Here's our y value. So now we want to graph, we want to fix our window to be just slightly above 4,000. So that's going to be our y max. Our y max, let's put that about 5,000. And if we do so, then we can finally graph and we can see if we get an intercepting point. There's our exponential. And here is our 4,000. So we use the second calc. We find the intercept. Whoa, lost my calculator. We find the intercepting point, or the intersecting option. We pick the first curve, second curve, and then we try to approximate somewhere around there. It'll give us the exact value. So it's going to take us about 28.5 years to make $4,000. So we can say it will take us 28 or about take us about 28.5 years to make $4,000. And that becomes our answer. Alright guys, so I summed up chapter 1 in this homework review. Again, you guys can pause, rewind, and view these notes as often as you need. Make sure you guys take good notes and use them for the mastery quiz and your quizzes and your exams. Hope this helps. Check out the other videos if you need help in any of the other homework assignments. See ya.